It started the same way every night. At 9:33 p.m., Emily would sit on the edge of her bed, light off, screen glowing softly in the dark, and type out a text to her mom. Just a short message, something like, "I love you," or "I miss you, Mom." Sometimes she'd tell her about her day, or ask for advice she knew she wouldn't get an answer to. She didn't care. It was part of her routine, and it helped her sleep. What made it strange was that her mother had been dead for over 3 years. Emily had kept the number active, paid the phone bill every month just so she could keep sending those messages. She couldn't bring herself to disconnect the line. It felt like cutting the last thread she had to her. Her mom had been her best friend, her anchor. Losing her to a sudden car accident at 47 had torn Emily's world apart. Therapy hadn't helped much. Friends tried, but no one really understood the quiet grief that came in waves during the night. The texts, though, those helped. They were a lifeline, a whisper into the void. At first, she never got replies. Just the delivery confirmation. A dead number can still receive messages if the line is active. But then something changed. It was a Tuesday when she got the first reply. She had texted her mom that night. "I miss you more than usual today. Work was horrible. I wish I could call you." She hit send and set the phone on her nightstand. 15 minutes later, the screen lit up. One message received. Her heart stopped. She stared at it for a full minute before picking up the phone. The message was simple. "I'm listening." Emily sat up, her fingers trembling. She stared at the words as if they might rearrange themselves into something that made more sense. She checked the contact info. It was still her mom's number. Still the same number she'd been texting all this time. She told herself it was probably a glitch. Maybe the number had been recycled and someone else now had it. But what were the odds that someone would respond with that? She didn't respond that night. She couldn't. The next day at work, she barely functioned. Her thoughts kept circling back to the message. What if it really was a glitch? Or what if someone was playing a cruel joke? Her mom's number wasn't listed anywhere publicly. No one else should have known about it. That night, she sent another message. This time, she tried to test it. "Who are you?" she wrote. "Why are you replying to this number?" She stayed up, waiting. The reply came a half hour later. "You already know who I am, sweetheart." Emily's blood went cold. Her mom used to call her sweetheart when she was little. No one else did, not in years. She threw the phone on the bed and paced the room. Her first instinct was to call the number, but fear rooted her to the floor. What if someone answered? What would she hear? The next morning, she took the phone to her friend Tasha, a cybersecurity analyst who had always been the pragmatic, logical one of the group. Tasha ran a check on the number. No recent transfers, no changes to the carrier, and the bill was still being paid under Emily's name. According to every system, the number hadn't been reassigned and had no incoming call or text activity, just outgoing messages from Emily. That only made things worse. Emily decided not to text that night. She needed distance. But when she opened her phone the next morning, there was a message waiting for her. "Why didn't you talk to me last night?" That's when she began to feel watched. Little things started happening. Her bedroom window would be open when she was sure she'd closed it. The hallway light would be on when she woke up, even though she never left it on. Her cat, Muffin, would hiss at the corner of the room at nothing and refuse to enter certain areas of the apartment. It wasn't just the texts anymore. Something had shifted. She started keeping a journal, tracking each interaction. The messages kept coming. They became more specific. "That blue dress you wore today was lovely." Or, "Don't trust that man at the coffee shop. He's not who he says he is." That last message unnerved her the most. She had met someone new recently. His name was Jordan. Kind, soft-spoken, and interested in everything she had to say. They'd been on 2 dates. He seemed perfect. Too perfect. She asked him casually if he had ever seen her texting during their dates. If maybe he had noticed her mom's number. He laughed and shook his head, saying he hadn't even seen her phone come out once. But the next time she texted the number, she asked, "What's wrong with Jordan?" The reply came instantly. "He's the reason I'm dead." Emily dropped her phone. Her heart hammered against her chest. She scrambled to pick it up again, hands shaking so hard she nearly dropped it a second time. She typed, "What do you mean? That was an accident. A drunk driver hit you." The reply, "Jordan was driving." Impossible. Emily remembered everything about the night her mom died. She had been out late picking up groceries. The police report had been clear. A red pickup truck ran a red light and slammed into the driver's side of her mom's Prius. The driver had no ID and fled the scene. He was never found. But now a horrible possibility clawed its way into her brain. Jordan drove a red pickup. A newer model, sure, but people replace cars. Had she asked him where he lived 3 years ago? What if she hadn't? What if all of this wasn't coincidence? She needed answers. The next time they went out, she pressed him for details. Where had he been living in 2022? What kind of car had he driven back then? He looked uncomfortable. Said he had been going through a rough patch and had moved around a lot. Drove an old red pickup, but sold it shortly after. Emily pretended not to react. But her mind screamed. That night, she texted the number. "What do I do?" The reply came after a long pause. "Look in the trunk." She didn't know what that meant. Her mom's old car had been totaled and scrapped. But then she remembered. Her mom had kept an old storage trunk in the attic. She hadn't touched it since the funeral. It felt sacred, untouchable. But now, maybe it held answers. She climbed into the attic and found the dusty trunk. It was heavier than she remembered. She opened it, and inside were old letters, photographs, and, beneath a folded quilt, a USB drive. She rushed downstairs, plugged it into her laptop, and opened the files. Videos. Dozens of them. Home security footage. The timestamp on one was dated the night of her mom's death. She hit play. The footage was grainy, black and white, from a camera pointed at the driveway. Her mom walked out to the car, opened the trunk, and placed the groceries inside. A man walked into frame. Tall, thin, wearing a hoodie. The video quality was poor, but when he looked up at the camera, the light hit his face. It was Jordan. He said something to her mom. They argued. He grabbed her by the arm. She slapped him. Then he shoved her hard. She hit the ground, and he ran to the driver's seat of her car, backed it out, and sped off. Emily watched, horrified, as the camera caught her mother's motionless body, lying by the bushes, minutes before a car came speeding down the street and struck the car Jordan had stolen, killing her mother instantly. He had taken her car, left her unconscious in the driveway. The police had found the wreckage but assumed her mother had been the one driving. It wasn't an accident. It was murder. She called the police, turned over the footage. Within days, Jordan was arrested. His DNA matched evidence recovered from the crash. He confessed to stealing the car after a confrontation, claimed he hadn't meant to kill anyone. But it didn't matter. He was going to prison for a very long time. Emily thought that would be the end of it, that the messages would stop. But they didn't. The night after the arrest, she received another message. "Thank you for setting me free." Then, the next night, "I'm proud of you." And then nothing. Weeks passed. No new messages. Her apartment felt warmer. The strange sensations disappeared. Muffin stopped hissing at empty corners. Emily finally felt like she could breathe again. She canceled the phone line, closed the account, deleted the message history. But every night at 9:33 p.m., she still found herself glancing at the empty screen, expecting something to light up. Sometimes she thought she heard her mom's voice in the quiet. A whisper, a breath, a feeling. But she didn't try to chase it anymore. Her mother had found peace. And so had she. Until, 1 month later, she received a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a single piece of paper. Typed. No handwriting. No signature. It read, "You did the right thing. But you're not the only one who's been texting the dead." Her fingers tightened around the paper. Somewhere, far away, another phone lit up in the dark. And a new nightmare began.